Welcome back to Big Movie Mouth Off, the podcast where three Salt Lake City-based critics talk about film. I'm Jeff Counts.
I'm Brooks Bird.
And I'm Adam McDonald.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hi.
I think we're episode 17 now, or is it
Sounds
18?
right.
I think it's 17. We
can go to R-rated movies now.
We can definitely go to R-rated movies now without
our parents.
Yes. I got to say, though, we don't have a lot of time for chit-chat because we're doing a little something extra on this show. Instead of reviewing 2 films, we're going to review 3 because we're getting into the busy part of the season where they start dumping a lot of product on us. So we're going to review a prequel, a sequel, and maybe the start of a franchise. I don't know. We'll get to that later. But we're going to start with the first Omen, the prequel to the Omen movies from 1970s. Then we'll do Monkey Man, Dev Patel's directorial debut. Then we'll end with Godzilla X Kong. And then we will do our Guilty Pleasures Team Up edition in honor of Godzilla X Kong. You guys ready?
Always.
Sure.
All right. Let's jump in to first Omen. Let's listen to a little bit of the trailer.
You don't have to be afraid. This child is his way.
Okay, Brooks, we finally did a scary movie on the show.
Tell us, you went to it. You were there.
Yeah, that you actually went to.
Not only are we doing it on the show, I watched it. So tell us what it's about.
So it's an Omen movie. It's Rome, 1971. Margaret, played by Nell Tiger-Free, has just arrived in Rome, where she's going to be taking the veil. And all kinds of shenanigans break loose with Father Brennan roping her into the conspiracy of the birth of the Antichrist. And she's got to find out what's really going on.
You know, Brooks, of all of the properties you try to get me to watch, of all of the horror properties, this was the one I was actually the most prepared for because I did see the original Omen, which I liked a lot.
It's so good.
This is 1976. It's a long time ago. I saw the second one. I didn't see the third one, and I didn't see the remake in 2006 with Liev Schreiber. But you said it was bad anyways.
You saw the original, so you've seen the remake. It's literally the same script.
Really?
See, I've never seen any of them.
Any of
this
them?
is the only one I've ever seen. Yes, I know the story. I know the story.
Ever?
I started watching the first one last night and I fell asleep.
Sam Neill is Damien in the third one.
Yep, he is.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah. I didn't see it. The president or something.
I did know that from IMDb. So, Brooks, we have to let you go first. What did you think of this movie?
Well, I love this franchise. I don't know why. I'm not religious. I honestly hate religion personally. And something about them. I think it's because they're more supernatural, but a little more grounded than some other movies and other franchises. And it just manages to be creepy and atmospheric and moody and broody. And it doesn't just rely on tons of jump scares every 5 seconds.
I'm so glad you mentioned religion because when we left the screening, my walkout comment to the studio rep was the one thing they got right in this movie. It's not the one thing, but the thing they got right most in this movie is that they remembered that nothing is scarier than church. Nothing. What I liked about this movie is that literally every scene could have been shot exactly the same way with a little bit brighter light and different music, and it would have been a different story. Church is scary. Those buildings are scary. The outfits are scary. The rituals are scary. If you get the lighting and the tone and the music right, you can turn everything in a Catholic service into a horror movie. Every single word of it. We're probably going to get canceled by Catholics, and I'm sorry, but it's true. Church.
We're based out of Utah. They don't matter. So
church can be very scary. So I love that they leaned into that with the story. They didn't overdo it. They just sort of told it straight, which I liked. Adam, you didn't know much going in. What did you think of the story and the conspiracy and the payoffs?
Well, I will say that as a repressed homosexual as a teenager, church was very scary.
What are you now? Whole nother level.
Are you unrepressed now?
I'm now an anxious homosexual. So everyone knows the backstory. Everyone knows Damien. South Park did it. Everyone's made fun of it or done a homage of it. So I knew the premise going in. I didn't know that this was going to be about the birth of the Antichrist instead of the Antichrist himself. but you pick it up really quickly, and it's really interesting because I walked out kind of about it, and it's kind of grown on me the more I've thought about it. But yeah, I do love the fact that the way they handled the actual story was, it wasn't, I mean, there were supernatural elements and there was this weird creature and then there's some body horror that was really gross, but in the long run this was about what people do to people.
Yeah.
And quote unquote, all for the greater good. Now, I haven't seen the first one, Brooks, but the kind of the twist they made as far as who is responsible for the Antichrist, I don't know if that was in the original or not, but I did like that because that was one twist I didn't see coming. Because the rest of the movie I thought was very predictable, but that was a cool take for me, at least, because I like it when they take originals, switch things up, and kind of turn it on their head, because you can tell a similar story, but make it more interesting and worthwhile to invest in it. So,
yeah. See, for me, I knew exactly where it was heading. Counts did too. But honestly, I was kind of not surprised, but they kept me kind of on my toes. I was like, is this where it's going? How are they going to get there? Like, I did not know how they were going to pull it off. And aside from the very last scene, which feels like a reshoot or a tack on, which I actually still love because I want to see where it goes.
Oh, they'll do more. This is going to make money.
I want this to be like an adjacent story now.
It does seem like they're setting it up for that. And I do think the last scene was completely unnecessary, whether they're going to do more of these or not. It was a literal name drop and it didn't have any place in a story that I felt was told with a great deal of nuance. I know I'm talking about a horror film. It's not my normal thing, but yes, was it predictable? Yes. Of course, it's a prequel. So by its very nature, it has to be predictable. It's the same 3 letters, PRE, right? So it's definitely going to be easy to guess what's coming. But I love the way that they told the story and kept the thread taut, even with that advanced knowledge available to all of us. Because I never did feel bored. I never did feel like I was getting cheap thrills from this movie. You're right, Brooks. There's not a lot of jump scares. There's only 2 that I can remember. And they're fine. They happen early and it doesn't really change much.
And I am a complete wimp at scary movies. And this one, I had one little jump and that was it. But the rest of it was just the environment and the way they set up the creepiness. And I love that kind of stuff.
Lots of ew.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. I'm not a huge body horror guy. I don't really enjoy that. And they didn't do too much of it in this film. But if you are the least bit squeamish about bodies
or childbirth,
well, that too. Yes, literally that, but also just other uncomfortable body things.
Or things that are coming out of places they shouldn't be coming out of.
Or some of those things shouldn't be coming out of anywhere.
Or what you didn't think was coming out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, oh.
It's like, that's not what I thought was happening.
If you're squeamish, this movie might get you a little bit, but it's not, I wouldn't call it scary. I would call it creepy. I would call it unsettling. And I would call it haunting. All of the words that raise scariness to a slightly more mature place for me. As a person who went into this thinking this is not my cup of tea, but also as a person who did remember the first movie very fondly, I felt like I got what I paid for. Now, I'm a critic, so I pay $0.
I was like, you didn't pay anything.
but I still felt like I got my
first time,
quote unquote, money's worth. You know, movies like this, Brooks, they're given a job description, right? Do the following things. And I felt like they did the job. It was a satisfactory performance of that job description.
Like I said, I as tacked on as the ending is, it makes me really excited to see where it goes, because it could be a really interesting adjacent storyline that didn't exist before. And so they could either just start a new franchise, which I kind of hope they do, or find some way to plug what happens into the others.
Adam, what do you think of the performances?
I think they were perfectly fine. I mean, you had a lot of people who at first, like Bill Nighy and a bunch of everyone else, I'm like, why are they slumming in this? And then you actually get into it and you realize, okay, they're not really slumming. I will say, though, the actress who plays the main character, there's a scene at the end where, I'm not going to say what happens, but it's a one-shot take. And she just does some really horrific and incredible things. And that was like, you know, you're never going to get an award for being in a horror movie unless it's the Vice Martin Award from the Utah Film Critic Association. But I will be putting her up for that because
that scene is insane.
That scene is insane. The way she carries herself, how she kind of finally starts to, like, the knowledge of what's actually going on comes across her face.
They gave her an actual arc.
They gave her an arc, the way and there's some beautiful shots, like when they're in that nightclub towards the beginning, being very nun-like. The way she presents herself there's a lot better acting in this than you would expect from a normal horror movie. Well, I'll definitely be remembering her towards the end of the year for that performance.
It sounds like you agree, Brooks.
Yeah, I've always kind of considered the Omen movies. Maybe this is another reason why I like them. They're kind of more classy,
Yeah,
but at the same time, still aren't afraid to wallow in the gore once in a while. Because 2 and 3 have some deaths in it that are very Final Destination style, and
totally.
I love it
Well,
for that. But it's
and you kind of have one in
hilarious.
this one too.
Yeah,
There's a very
there's a
Final
few of them.
Destination one.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
This movie didn't lean too much into those, like I said before, cheap thrills. And I do feel like the acting is good. I feel like the acting was appropriate to a story that is depending mostly on its atmosphere to get you where it needs to get you.
Yes.
And I thought the acting fit perfectly into that. She was the right person for this. All right, since we've got 2 more movies to talk about, let's get right away to scores. Brooks, you get to lead out because this is your thing. What did you score First Omen?
I'm gonna give it a full 4 for me, just because I
What?
love these movies. I can't help it. They make me giddy. I
So
love
you can't
every
see
second of
this
them.
because it's an audio format, but you should see his face right now. It is literally the definition of giddy.
It is
I
the
do.
definition
I
of
love
giddy.
them.
Well,
Especially the Omen. I always have.
so Brooks gives it a incredibly non-objective full 4 stars. Adam,
Not
where are
biased
you?
at all.
I'm actually really surprised where I finished up on this one based on when I saw it, but it's been growing on me. So I'm at a 3.
Really?
So yeah,
Nice.
I was going in around a 2, and then the more I thought about it and dwelled on like because I love practical effects, and it's all for the most part practical effects.
Oh yeah.
Except for one scene I wish they didn't need as well as the ending. But no, I mean I had fun with it. I think now I want to go. I'm gonna go back and watch all the original ones because I haven't done that.
They're all
And
on
then-
Hulu.
Yeah, I started watching one last night. And then I'll probably check it out again. So
Well, no one is more surprised than me to be at 3 stars with you, Adam.
Woohoo!
I like this movie very much. I think it did what it was supposed to do in a very stylish way. And I thought the acting was good. The direction was good. Like I said, it's a movie that depends on atmosphere, and it got that part right. So Brooks, for you,
4 stars.
Adam,
3 stars.
and 3 stars for me. We're going to stay in the blood realm, but a different kind when we come back and talk about Dev Patel's Monkey Man. We'll be right back. Okay, guys, complete departure. We're going to talk about a revenge movie, Dev Patel's directorial debut, Monkey Man. Before Adam gives us the synopsis, let's go to the trailer.
When I was a boy, my mother used to tell me a story of a demon king and his army. They brought fire and terror to the land. Until they faced the protector of the people, the white monkey.
Okay, Adam, tell us about this one.
Well, like you said, counts. I mean, this has Dev Patel directing, starring, and writing in this movie. Very much inspired by John Wick, but he plays an anonymous person. Just goes by Kid. He is in these illegal fights underground. Wears a monkey mask. Gets the crap beat out of him, like hardcore. Like you got to see it to believe it. But basically, the purpose of his life is something happened when he was a kid. It was very traumatic, caused by some very powerful and corrupt people. So he is basically trying to get revenge. So it starts out as a revenge flick, and then it kind of morphs into, well, it ends up as a revenge flick too, but it kind of comes into like, hey, he's got to go through things, kind of discover himself, and very much go on that hero's journey. There is definitely a character arc for him, but that being said, it does still kind of end where it started, which maybe doesn't make sense, but it might when you see the movie.
I think what you just described should be very familiar to people who watch a lot.
It's not unique.
There's nothing new in this. There's absolutely nothing new. But like I talked about before, when you hand a job description to a film and you say, do this, Dev was handed a job description about a revenge thriller with a hero's arc, and he did exactly that, and he did it extremely well. This movie knows exactly what it is, doesn't try to be more, but it's not new. So those two things are maybe in conflict, but I think they both have to be stated from the top. I loved the way he treated certain tropes in interesting ways, and I think he did so by making India a character in this film. The setting is very much a part of this film. And one of the things that India struggles with, has for a long time and still does today, is caste and class. And I think class is also a character in this film. It's a very important thing. He embraces some of the squalor that the lower class people have to live in that country.
Mhm.
So I love the fact that class and setting were characters of this film. And he put that to good work. For example, when the training montage comes, which we all know is going to happen, it's always at the end of the second act of a film like this, where the hero is beaten nearly to death and has to fight his way back through it. Christian Bale did it down in the pit in Nolan's Batman movie. They all have to do it, right? So that scene was really done well by involving a tabla drummer, an Indian tabla drummer, which I thought was so unique and so cool. And I think this movie is full of little cool things like that. What do you think, Brooks?
I actually was kind of distracted through the whole movie, but I think it was because of the marketing. Like they are totally selling this as the Indian John Wick, and that is not what the movie is at all.
I agree.
And so once I finally got over that, I was like, okay, yeah, this movie is pretty awesome. The only other thing that kind of bugged me and kept taking me out of the movie was the atrocious cinematography with all of the shaky cam and the quick cuts, and you could tell where the edits were, and it just was starting to drive me crazy. But
okay, you're onto something there, Brooks, that I think I want to let Adam chime in on too. With regards to cinematography and the choices that Patel and his team made for how the film was shot. I know you have opinions about that too, Adam.
I'm definitely there with Brooks for a bit. It did feel a bit disjointed sometimes, and sometimes you're like, it's almost like the first time I saw Birdman, which I love and I think is a masterpiece, but you knew the gimmick, quote unquote, was that it was a one-take movie. So you're purposely trying to find the cuts. And then the moment you get over yourself and stop doing that, that's when you kind of enjoy it. So for me, at first, especially some of the beginning fight scenes, and then a bit towards the end, it was the same kind of deal. With that being said, this is a first-time director, guys. And if he can pull this off on his freshman outing, like, what's he going to do next? I think of like when we saw McKenna Grace back in the movie Gifted years ago, and I was like, this girl's going places, and then now she's blowing up, right? And she's doing incredible things. So while I don't think that's perfect by any means, and it did kind of pull me out occasionally, I still kept on getting so drawn in by the story and the setting, which, as you said, counts, is a character in this movie. And then the cast, I mean, we could just go off and on forever, pretty much repeating ourselves. But I will be very, very proud to say that I love the fact that Dev Patel very wholeheartedly said trans rights throughout this movie.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to give it away because it really wasn't in the trailers.
No, it's not.
But let's just say there are some trans characters that play a huge role.
And
there was a moment where I wanted to stand on my feet and cheer.
They're his crazy 88s.
Yes,
absolutely.
And it was amazing.
And yeah, and it's fantastic. But yeah, you can tell this is a first-time director.
Yeah.
You can tell it's also a first-time writer.
But considering, like you said, everything he pulls off just makes it all worth it.
Yeah, and I really, really feel this is the beginning of a franchise. So, and if it ends now, because the way it does end, it's kind of ambiguous. So this could be a one and done, or it could be a new action franchise for Dev Patel to go after. Either way, I'm fine with it. I kind of felt the same way as we did at the end of John Wick 4. Is like, if it ends here, or Guardians 3, if it ends here, I got what I wanted. I would like to see more, but it's not necessary.
I agree with you guys about the direction. I think in a movie like this, it's very easy to trip over your own feet because stories like this are only told with style. They're so familiar, they're so common, they're so repetitive that you have to use style to make your mark. And I think sometimes a director, particularly a first-time director, maybe leans too far into style and they lean past the line where substance ends, right? And that probably happened a few times. Yeah, stop with the tricks, shoot this scene straight. You know, sometimes less is more. And I think that's something he's going to learn as he goes on. Look, he's 33. He's not a baby. He's had a lot of success on the other side of the camera. He knows what he's doing. He's going to be great. Whether or not Monkey Man becomes a franchise, I hinted at it in the opening because I would like it to, but you're right, Adam. It can go either way based on the way this film ends.
You know, so this actually was Dev Patel 100% little thing, and then Netflix bought it. And then Netflix actually dropped it because they're like, yeah, it might not be right for the cultures. And then when Jordan Peele picked it up, which he got for a song, by the way, he got it for like $10 million from Netflix.
Wow.
I feel that if Dev Patel were to partner with him and go forward, that Jordan Peele could be that guiding hand that would give him some advice, some input. Hey, this is what I've learned. Because we can honestly say Get Out was a masterpiece, and Jordan Peele immediately knew what he was going for and did it perfectly. But I think he could help guide Dev Patel in future projects because I feel like they work well together. And then that's just maybe my projecting, but I feel that'd be a good thing.
I think you're onto something because I didn't see Us, But I heard that in that movie, Jordan leaned too far over the substance line into his style. So he knows what I'm talking about. And he knows that what Dev's going to need to make his second movie not seem like a sophomore slump, but actually move his career in the right direction. I think we all agree we like Dev Patel. We like him as an actor.
Oh, yeah.
We love him as an action star. He's got the body for it. He's got the physicality for it. He's got the charm for it.
Oh yeah, he can walk around with his shirt off all day long. I won't say no.
He's great in the role. So whether or not he goes on to be the Monkey Man, or if it becomes more of an anthology with different people inhabiting the thing, I just hope that it continues. I really do. And I hope he takes another turn at the helm, because I think he's got a lot to say as a director.
Maybe it's just because it's part of my community, but the actors who play the trans people, they were fantastic. I think one of the things that you may have some consternation on from my community is that there's a big discussion about, okay, so should gay actors or trans actors be played by gay or trans people?
Right.
For me, as far as thinking of it as a gay man, whoever's best for the role, from someone playing a gay man, straight or gay doesn't bother me. But I do know that with some friends I have who are trans, what they've said was they would rather, if a cis actor is going to play a trans character, it should be their gender, not their former gender. And so with these trans women in the movie, as far as I can tell, they were played by male actors. And I could be wrong. I didn't go look up every single character, but that's just one thing I'll call out. That, and again, I don't think it was Dev being insensitive, because you could see it's very something he's passionate about, but just something that I think if anyone's listening who decides to make movies going forward. The one thing I really, really enjoyed was we have like the mustache twirling evil bad guy, but the real bad guy was the quiet, peaceful, religious man. And I think that kind of ties into what we talked about with the first Omen, is that you can have people who present a certain way when behind closed doors are the real evil behind the monsters. Exactly. And it doesn't mean that all religious people are monsters. We're not saying that at all, but it just seems to be that when someone can take control of a huge group of people's psyche and manipulate them, religion is one way that they do it a lot.
I do want to be clear that when I say there's nothing scarier than religion, I don't mean that all religion is scary. I just mean that the potential for it is
it's very easy.
There's a deep potential for scary in religion. Dan Brown has made it a huge career out of it, right? About scary religious people.
Oh my God. His last book, whatever it was, I read it. I almost stopped reading it, and I've never stopped reading a book. Much the same as the only movie I ever walked out of was Party Monster, because I was pissed off about it, and I probably need to go watch it again. But don't get me started on Dan Brown. Don't get me going there.
Don't. You better not
move along.
You better not be pulling up Party Monster as a guilty pleasure anytime soon, because now we know you didn't watch it.
Well, yeah. Then, unlike some film critics, I never review things I didn't watch.
Exactly.
So,
all right.
Very true.
I think we liked this movie. I think that's pretty clear. I'll score it first. Interestingly enough, for me, it gets the exact same score as First Omen for different reasons. It's a 3-star movie. The only thing that keeps it from being a 4-star movie is it's just not really new, but he does a great job with it. I can't wait to hear what he does next. And like I always say, 3 stars is a very good score. Adam, where are you?
3.5. So a little bit higher than you. I think I did walk out just a bit more excited. I had really high hopes for this, and it met and partially exceeded them. However, and again, this isn't a slam against Dev at all, because he did a fantastic job. It's just there's things he's going to learn as he moves forward in his career. And some of the cinematography, Brooks, like you brought up, dropped it down a little bit. But if I could give it a 1/4 star, I'd give it 3 3/4. But we don't do that.
We don't do 1/4 stars.
We don't do 1/4 stars. So 3.5. And I think it's excellent. You're going to love it. And rush out and see it, because it's fun.
Brooks?
I'm going to stick with the 3 like you. I mean, yeah, it could have been better, as good as it is.
Right.
But it's just, yeah, there's some things that kind of dragged it down a little. I was blindsided by the actual story, which is great. And I think the way it works is because we have seen all of this before, but like you mentioned, the cultural infusion makes it interesting again.
Yeah.
It gives it its own little flair, and that really helped. I mean, there's so many scenes that were right out of either John Wick or Kill Bill, and maybe that was kind of why I was like, really? But then he turns around and gives us like the training montage with the drum guy, and just,
it was so cool.
Completely makes up for it.
So cool. All right. So I'm at 3 stars. Adam?
3.5.
Brooks?
3.
We really like Monkey Man. Go see this movie. Support it. Rather than take a break, let's just go straight to the trailer of Godzilla x Kong and come back and get into that one. Here it is.
Kong can't stop this on his own.
He won't be alone.
Okay, Brooks, tell us the story of Godzilla X Kong, if you can do that.
Well, I guess the best thing to do is just to keep this simple. I mean, it's very obviously we're
Actually,
back in,
I'd like to challenge you to make it complicated if you can.
then I'd have to tell the whole story.
I don't think it's possible to make this story complicated.
So we're back in Hollow Earth. Kong has found accidentally a new area, a new terrain that he didn't know was there, and comes to find more of his own species. And they're led by King Scar, who wants to wipe all of them out along with everybody on Earth. And so Kong has to join forces and convince Godzilla into helping him.
Yeah, that's it.
We just saved you 2 hours. Bye, folks.
Yeah.
So,
No,
I make fun of the story because it is dumb as a box of rocks. There's
Oh,
no
yeah.
question about that. But that's not why you go to a MonsterVerse film. You go to a MonsterVerse film for the special effects, for the set pieces, for the fun of being in these legacy worlds, right?
Dan Stevens.
Dan Stevens, okay, we'll come back to that. We will come back to that. But I do want to say that the trailers sell this movie as an equal partnership when it is 90% Kong and 10% Godzilla.
yes.
Godzilla is
Oh,
not
yeah.
in this movie all that much. The scenes are short. His action is happening mostly off stage. And it really is a King Kong movie. We just say that right out front, which I don't mind because I love the Kong character, love the way he's animated. They allow him to have a lot more facial personality in this movie, which I like. I'll quickly just circle back to Dan Stevens real quick. There's a comment that one of the characters, he's the rough, tough security guy, and Dan Stevens is dressed like Magnum PI, and he looks at him at one point and says, "Am I going to trust my instincts or your Ace Ventura instincts?" or something like that. He basically tells him that he's dressed like Ace Ventura. And I thought, that's perfect. That's a movie 8 miling itself, because the jokes in the script in this movie are Ace Ventura level. Let's not kid ourselves. It is lame. Brian Tyree Henry and Dan Stevens are supposed to be the comic relief of this movie, and they are given groaner after groaner line. It is hard to sit through. I've never wanted to see monsters fight more than those two human beings.
I love Dan Stevens in this
Well, tell me why.
because he gets to be goofy and weird and just kind of over the top. He gets to have fun. And it's a nice reunion for him with Adam Wingard from The Guest. So it was good to see him back in action under Wingard's control. But I'm hoping that his character sticks around. We really do not need Brian Tyree Henry's anymore. He served no purpose in this. I'm glad they got rid of Millie Bobby Brown. Her character was drove into the ground with the last one. She was just there for popularity. She was cast because she's in Stranger Things.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. And I often refer to Greek choruses in movies like this. And what I mean is that there are often characters that are there to speak for us, to have reactions for us, to like be immortal amongst all these gods and give us voice. And I think that's what Brian Tyree Henry's character was supposed to do, but it just didn't work. And the banter with him and Stevens, I mean, yes, Brooks, it is fun to see him let his hair down a little bit and be goofy.
Quite literally
as you
in this
say.
movie.
Yeah, quite
So.
literally. And be goofy, as you say. But Adam, help me out here. The jokes are not good.
There were jokes in this movie?
Oh, I didn't say the jokes were good. I just like Dan Stevens.
No, this movie, that is one part it really fell flat, was a lot of the script was bad. Now, that being said, there are parts of the script that were awesome because we go here because we want to see monsters fight each other and punch each other. And I just love, there were so many scenes with Kong where like he would look down and he just like rolls his eyes like, I'm getting too old for this S. You know,
Yes.
they really made him much more of an expressive character by letting it be. There's dozens of moments in this film where it's just him by himself.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing I really like a lot about this movie was too many times. Now, Godzilla -1 is an exception because that is a human-based story.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem we see with monster movies is they try to make it too much about the humans and don't give us the monsters. And despite the fact this had, who cares? They can get squished. The one dude, the military guy, tell me he was not the biggest red shirt person you've ever seen.
He
in your
was a
life.
red shirt from the first
Oh
minute
my
he
gosh.
came on screen. I'm sorry. I don't care that we just spoiled that. It's so obvious the minute you see it.
Yeah, it's like saying, "Oh, there's King Kong in this movie." No way. So yeah, I will give the script crap for the fact that the jokes are horrible. Dan Stevens didn't really annoy me. I do like Dan Stevens a lot, so maybe I had that bias going in. But I will say the important parts of the script is letting us see the monsters, letting the monsters do their own thing, and I don't need humans talking.
There's a lot of amazing eye candy in this film. We do get to spend a lot of time in Hollow
Mhm.
Earth, which is really fun. There's a lot of great creature stuff. There's a lot of great new lore. As Brooks said, he finds a new area and he encounters this Scar King character, which they show in the trailers. And that's all super fun. But my concern with this project is that I felt like this film signaled a turn towards the silly that wasn't present in Skull Island, wasn't present in the second Godzilla movie, and definitely wasn't present in Godzilla versus Kong. This movie feels sillier than those, like more time spent on the humans and their dumb one-liners. So that worries me. Brooks, it doesn't worry you though? I'm trying to get you to where I am.
That's what I expect. So I can easily look past it and it doesn't bug me at all. But the one thing this movie has going for it the most is the time spent with the monsters. Because, yeah, there are some huge stretches where you're literally just watching basically an animated movie.
It's true.
And I love that. And the way that they were able to give so much emotion. There's no dialogue. You always knew what was going on. You could tell that these characters were interacting with each other and could not talk to each other, but like with animals, just in general. Like they have their ways of communicating and it totally comes through. It just, I love that a lot. And I will let you know that Wingard has said the next movie will focus more on Godzilla. So,
He heard me.
yeah.
He heard me.
So
Well,
there's more to come with that because he called it the completion of a trilogy. I don't know why everything has to be a trilogy. It's not a trilogy, it's a series, it's a franchise. Don't call it a trilogy. But so I think that with the next one, maybe with it being Godzilla, we'll have even more different characters. And Rebecca Hall is getting pretty useless too.
well, I mean,
Gia's great. I love the Gia character.
None of
She's
the humans-
fantastic with her connection with Kong, but
none of the humans
everyone
serve any
else.
purpose. I guess I'm not going to be able to get you to where I am because you're just fighting me on it. But yes, I agree. There's a lot of great time with the monsters, and that's great. But I could have done with a lot less Brian Tyree Henry, are you kidding me right now moments, and
Oh, yeah.
Dan Stevens devilish laugh followed by a woohoo moments. I could have done with a lot fewer of those. And I think the movie would have tracked a lot better. Okay, Brooks and I are just going to fight this out unless you break the tie here, Adam. Who's right?
You're both right.
I knew it.
No, I can see both your points of view. Although I will tell you when I give the score, kind of who I'm leaning to, but I do want to call out one thing. I do love the fact how they approach the deaf character in this movie. The constant sign language. The only thing they could have done a bit better is so I know sign language, and I was really heavily involved in the deaf community for a while. Not so much in Utah, but in California. And when you're speaking to someone, the person who knows sign language should be translating it to the person who doesn't know. So they're always part of that conversation. You didn't quite get that as much, which I wish you would have seen. But that being said, I think a lot of people don't know about that. So the fact that they actually, and I was watching, they were using real sign language. Like what they were talking about was really what they were saying. And I do want to applaud the fact that they did it right. And that it wasn't like it was this person's, it wasn't like they had a disability or anything. I was like, hey, they talk in their heads, they just can't talk in person. So we're gonna make sure they're always a part of the group and know what's going on.
I was gonna say they at least addressed why she doesn't talk.
Right. I don't buy the mother-daughter relationship at all. That just feels forced and doesn't feel like it's earned. But I do feel that she, Rebecca Hall's character does care about her.
Oh yeah.
But I don't see her as being like, oh well, I'm really your mother. That doesn't really come across. It just comes across more like I'm your guardian. But in the long run, I will give it some extra points for the sign language and the respectful way of treating deaf people.
A great point. I'm really glad you brought that up because I agree with you. I think that's well done. Look, it sounds like I didn't have fun with this. That's only because Brooks made me mad. I did have fun with it just last night, actually. So I've seen it maybe the most recently of the three of us. I think
you did, yes.
Yeah. And we had a blast. But several times we just looked at each other and rolled our eyes. And it's when the people were on stage. I don't go to these movies for people. So I probably shouldn't judge them by the people, but it's hard not to take the entirety of it and try to make some sense out of the vision, not only for this film, but for the Monsterverse going forward. And for me, the people part is a little bit tough. So I'm going to go into scores first. For me, straight down the middle, 2 stars. Had fun, enjoyed myself. I'm glad I saw it. I'm definitely going to see the next one. But this movie had much bigger flaws than the previous couple, in my opinion. So I'm at 2 stars. Brooks.
Do we really need to? Do we
If you
really
say
need to
4,
ask?
I'm going to lose my mind.
Oh, he's got that devilish
You
grin on
have
his
to
face.
remember, I judge these movies based on where they stand. It's a
Brooks,
Godzilla Kong
Don't
movie.
do it. Don't do it.
I watched this movie with my 6-year-old daughter next to me. She was pounding the air when Godzilla finally came in to fight. She was all into it, and so was I. And we saw it on IMAX, so it was huge and loud. And yep, I'm going 4.
Oh my
'cause
God.
I can't help it.
This has been really
I love
fun,
these movies.
guys. I hate to say that Big Movie Mouth Off is over, but it's been really fun. I'm
We
kidding.
made it 17.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Okay, so 4 stars, Brooks. All right, what about you, Adam?
Okay, so you know how I said I was gonna decide who was right and who was wrong?
You're going to split the difference right now, aren't you?
3.
Oh my goodness.
And here's the thing: you both have valid points. I do, fully agree that Brian Tyree Henry just needs to go. I don't think there's any point for him to be there anymore.
I love
Dan
him, though.
Stevens.
I love
I
him.
love
yeah.
him.
I love
Oh,
him.
he's amazing, just not in this
He's
role.
an amazing
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bad role.
I'll see him in other stuff, just not this. Dan Stevens, again, having fun. I like the fact that he was having fun. I think the script needed better jokes, but I will give it huge points for the deaf part of it, and also the fact that I wanted to see monsters punching each other, and I got that a lot more than I had the humans interacting. So you're both right. I'm at a 3. So
All right. Godzilla X Kong. I definitely want people to go see it because I think it's a lot of fun. It's a summer popcorn movie that we just happen to be getting in April. So go enjoy some summer fun in the early spring.
it's one of the dumbest things you'll ever see, but it's fun.
Yep. 2 stars for me, Brooks.
4.
And the incredible cop-out, Adam.
I was already at 3 before you guys said you get your rolls, so I don't want to hear about that. I scored these things before we even do this, except for the rare times that you changed my mind.
So I'm realizing that the 3rd review is pretty punchy. We may want to consider doing this again at some point in the future.
yeah, I
It's
think
kind
this,
of
this
funny
is
that we're
interesting.
doing
Yeah.
this with this movie. It's very
I
fitting.
know.
Yeah.
I know. All right. When we come back, we're going to jump into our guilty pleasures, and they are going to be team ups. Thanks to Godzilla X Kong for that idea. We'll be right back. Welcome back to this very contentious episode of Big Movie Mouth Off. I'm Jeff Counts.
I'm Brooks Bird.
And I'm Adam McDonald.
Guilty Pleasures time. Team up edition. Adam, you go first.
Okay, so you can't kick me off the show for this one.
I've already canceled the show. We're good.
You've already canceled
Yeah.
the show. You canceled yourself.
But this thing's
and
been redacted and canceled. We're done.
Yeah, you should hear the outtakes we got of this one. So this is one, it's a sequel. I did not grow up watching the original. I don't know why. It's a fun movie. I didn't like the first 20 minutes of Space Jam: A New Legacy.
What?
Adam.
I didn't like it until it got into Toontown and it became
Oh.
Ready Player One.
Oh,
You can't tell me
Oh.
that movie's not Ready Player One.
well, you can't tell
Um,
me Ready Player One is any good.
Well,
Hey.
I've got it's effing Chucky. The second best F word use in a movie, the first being in Guardians 3.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
So here's the thing: is LeBron James can't act. He's no Michael Jordan. He's
Ugh.
he's not in the same league as Michael Jordan as far as any kind of basketball player goes. And it's a horrible movie. I love it dearly though, because I love movies that make references, and this one throws them at you so fast you got to watch it 5 times to get it. And I remember I came home afterwards and I was like, I think this is back when was it streaming still? Because I was in the movies and streaming. Because I made Clark watch
it
it.
was during the
Yeah.
pandemic. Yeah.
I made Clark watch it right away, and he's like, "This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen." And I'm just there giggling like a schoolgirl because I'm having so much fun with it. So yes,
Wow.
Space Jam: A New Legacy is a horrible movie. I love it dearly, and you should not watch it. But if you
See-
do, don't blame me because I told you it was bad.
That's
See,
a-
Space Jam makes me mad even more at Warner Brothers for ditching the Acme movie. So
Oh, don't get me started on that one.
exactly, they're releasing this kind of garbage and canceling and deleting others. So
I know. Well, that's a shocker, Adam. I got to give you credit. for
Yeah.
that. I'm gonna go a little further back in time. I'm going all the way back to
Ooh.
1982, and it's a sequel. It's the 3rd part of a long-running franchise. I'm talking about Rocky 3. I loved the first Rocky. Number 2 is when Stallone started directing them himself and writing them. And in 3, he and, rest in peace, Apollo
Mm.
Creed, played by Carl Weathers, they team up to go against Mr. T, Clubber Lang, because Rocky's coach dies and he needs a new coach. So he goes and gets his old arch rival, Apollo Creed, to train him. The movie is terrible. There's a super sexy running on the beach scene that ends with a watery hug. It's hilariously bad.
It was the
But
80s.
But I love these Rocky movies. I love them so much. I don't know why. It's part of my childhood. I'm never going to be able to be objective about them. So mine is my team up guilty pleasure is Rocky 3. Brooks, it's to you.
All right. I think I'm going to decide on this one because the other one isn't a bad movie at all. I was going to say RRR. However, like I
That
said,
can't be
you
guilty.
can't
That's
choose
just
that one.
pleasure.
Exactly.
It's just
And I
pleasure.
bared my soul
Oh, yeah.
in front of you and all of our
So-
listeners. So
So the one I came up with was Hobbs and Shaw.
That is a good one. That's
I
a
love
good
it.
horrible
guilty
movie.
pleasure.
Yeah.
It's the
It's-
best Fast and Furious movie there is.
Oof.
Sorry.
I mean, I'm sorry if they're not jumping a car into space, I don't want to be part of that. So
It's also not hard to be the best of that franchise. If we're
Very
being
true.
honest. All right. So Brooks, yours is?
Hobbs and Shaw.
Mine was Rocky 3, and Adam, say it again.
Oh, God.
Space Jam: A New Legacy.
Wah, wah.
I got to say, guys, we covered a lot of ground in this episode. I don't think we'll do 3 reviews too often, but this was a lot of fun. It was
Yes.
really fun to get into
Yep.
this with you guys.
That's all, folks.
Long story
Shame.
First-
Shame.
short, first Omen, Monkey Man, and Godzilla X Kong. We want you to see all of them. No doubt
Yeah.
about it. There's not a
Oh,
single
yeah.
one that we don't want you to go see. Go to the movies, have fun, support these wonderful artists. I think it's a great time to be in the theater. We'll be back in a couple of weeks with probably a more standard show. Stay tuned on that. But until then, I'm Jeff Counts.
I'm Brooks Bird.
And I'm Adam McDonald.
Thanks for being with us on Big Movie Mouth Off. Big Movie Mouth Off was produced and edited by me, Jeff Counts, and co-hosted by Adam McDonald and Brooks Bird. Our theme music is written by Brian Z. Richards, and this show is dedicated to the memory of our founders, Jeff Michael Weiss, and my partner in crime for over 5 years, the incomparable Jimmy Martin.